Yes, yes, yes. Native Speakers Academy is going live. Bear with me while I copy and paste the links into the relevant boxes to promote this session all across Facebook, where we will be doing our own thing today. That's it. We are almost ready to go. We will see who joins us for this show. Getting things into view and into focus. Hi, it's G from Native Speakers Academy. Native Speakers Academy is a small private holistic language school based in Banska Bystrica in central Slovakia. Basically, we do two things. We teach the English language and we offer life coaching. So we try to help everybody in the best way we can. The teaching of the language provides work on our inner skills, and the life coaching helps us present the information out into the real world. In these live online sessions, which I am testing right now, what we will be looking at is answering questions about teaching and tutoring. We will be answering questions about language and its use. And we will be answering questions about anything else that is going on in your life, your universe, or your world. If you want more information about what we've been doing over the last 10 years, then you can visit our homepage, which is nsa-slovakia.com. You can see it behind me on the left, NSA, Center for Educational Theory and Research. Or you can visit our YouTube page where we have over 500 free videos on education, society, philosophy that we have collected together over the last 5 or 6 years. And I think you'll see a nice progression there in terms of the information. You'll also find some free lessons for advanced learners of English on the page. So hopefully there's something to spark your interest there. What's the aim today? Well, today is Monday. It's the 27th of, which month is it? June, almost the end of the school year. And that means a lot of schools are winding down what they're doing, but not us. We're winding up things because there's always something more that we want to do. There's always more that you can give if you are the creative type of person. What else is going on? Well, I can tell you it's incredibly hot, and one of my students this morning told me it was going to be hot and hotter this summer, which is crazy because I'm stuck here under the roof in my little attic rent business space, and I've got 2 fans blasting out, and it's still not enough to keep me cool here. Was looking at one of those ice ventilation machines at the weekend, which is 200 to 300 euro, wondering if it's a good investment, and thinking that I can't really afford it at the moment, because when I think of investments, what I think about is something that I'm going to use every day. If you're going to invest in something and you're going to use that thing every day, then it's probably a good investment if it's an everyday object that will be useful for you. Maybe what that means is maybe a mobile phone, something you're going to use every day. So it might be worth paying a little bit more, looking at your investment in that. But if it's not something you're going to use every day, if it's every second day or if it's once a week, then you have to think a little bit more about your investment. Of course, some things are seasonal investments. You've got bikes, kind of a summertime investment. If people are mountain biking or they want to take their bikes out or just have cycling as a way of exercising and relaxing. Skiing. There's a winter activity which is seasonal, which is healthy. So some activities are seasonal, but in terms of investment, what I'm thinking about for my investments is it going to be practical? Is it going to be something that I can use every day? And if it is, then I'm prepared to pay a little bit more for it. So I think that's something that you might want to think about in terms of your own investments. What else is happening? Talking a little bit this morning about business and different kinds of analysis and progressive steps for businesses. I've been working on the vision, the mission, and the principle elements of business. So if you are interested in business English and teaching business English with business classes, here's something that I've been looking at recently in terms of teaching that can benefit businesses and individual students. And the principle is, does the business have a clear vision? If it does have a clear vision, does it then have a clear mission? The vision being basically your desired end state, and the mission being how you're going to achieve that desired end state. And then, do you have principles? Do you have sets of daily activities that are going to ensure that you meet your vision and your mission? Now, why is this important? This is important in terms of direction. If someone in a company or an organization is doing something which does not apply to the overall goals of the company, the vision and the mission, then what they're doing is essentially useless in that context. And not only can you apply this concept of visions and missions to businesses, but you can also apply it in your personal life as well, in terms of personal motivation. What is your vision for your own life? Where do you see yourself at this time next week, this time next month, this time next year? Can you even visualize that? Because if you can't see it in your head, if you can't visualize it in your head, it's not going to become a reality in your world. So everything comes from the human imagination. That's what makes us different from the animal world in many ways. Everything comes from having that vision in our heads. I'm sure you've heard of people who have vision boards, where they take a board and they post up on the board the different things that they want to see in their future, that they're trying to help themselves make plans for their future. They're trying to help themselves get the inner world out into the outer world. And so these things are all important in terms of how we work with our visions and our missions. And don't many ideas start as dreams as well? So we've got to be able to visualize things in our head. And I often tell students the same thing with language and grammar, which is the visualization of what is in your head is extremely important. If you can't visualize the grammar, if you can't visualize the structure, if you can't visualize the words and their places in the sentences, then it's going to be a problem when you try to communicate. It's one thing to see a sentence in a book, it's one thing to read a sentence on a board, but you then have to be able to create those sentences, the word order, the word structure in your own mind. So the visualization also applies to language and grammar. So the vision is very important. Then you've got the mission, which is the processes that the company is going to go through. And there's a lot of great examples of this that are available on or through search engines. So I'm going to give you a little tip here, which is when you search for things, don't just use one search engine. And if you do use only Google, like most people, if you do Google for info, then what I think is good for you to do is to do an image search for what you're looking for, because I think that the graphic element is very powerful and can help you filter the information that you need more clearly. That's also why I like Pinterest as a resort. It's all very graphical. It's a nice little breeze blowing through the office right now. It's good when there's a little bit of a wind. When there's no wind, it's just like a microwave here. I feel like I'm on slow cook. So vision and mission. And I'll tell you one of the interesting, exciting things about life is that when you wake up in the morning, sometimes you don't know exactly what's going to happen. Some things are predictable. You maybe know which meetings you're going to have. You maybe know which places you're going to go to. But you don't know exactly what everyone is going to say. You don't know exactly how everyone is going to feel. You don't know exactly what everyone is going to bring to the table. And so when I woke up this morning, I knew that I wanted to do some work with companies and businesses this week on visions and missions, because it's important to me, and if I think it's important to me, it's also going to be important to other people as well. So I'm going to share with you the vision and the mission that popped out of my head for my work and what I'm doing this morning. And so I was sitting at the breakfast table in my usually semi-dazed morning state, because I don't leap out of bed and bounce like the happy, fluffy bunny rabbit. I usually crawl out of bed and require 2 cups of coffee and a piece of toast before my brain is even stimulated to function, which is not good, because it's probably not the best way to start the day. Probably the best way to start the day would be to get up and do some exercise. So I've got great respect for people who are at that level, who get up and they go and do some yoga, or they go and do some stretching. They go out for a walk, or even those people who jog. That would be next level living for me. If I can get to the next level, I would get up every morning and I would go for a jog. But at the moment, I'm in this get up stage of just happy to get out of bed. And slowly get my mind to focus on the things that I want to focus on for that day. I've always been a bit like that. I'm working on changing, and it's a slow process, but it does happen. You can't expect things to happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. So there we go. Visions and missions. I'm also on a time limit today, so this session is going to be 20-25 minutes long, because it's also live, which means that anything could happen, which means that anybody could call me. It means that anybody can write a message on the Facebook page for the school if you want to ask me a question and you'd like me to answer something about language or education. You'd like my opinion or advice. Some people actually respect it. Some people don't care about it, but that's okay. If you would like some advice, or you have a question, then you can write it on the Native Speakers Academy Facebook page. It should pop up, and I will answer it in live time for you. If you've got a grammar question, I will try to help you solve the question. If you're just wondering where the best place is to go at the weekend or what film you should watch at the cinema, I can give you my advice about that as well. So, back to visions and missions. So I woke up this morning and as usual, these things just pop into my head, especially when if I've had a relatively good night's sleep, which is for me 5 or 6 hours, um, getting woken up obviously by the kids many times through the night, but you don't worry about that because that's one of the joys, right? Um, so I woke up this morning and and had this vision and mission in my head, and although I've worked on the basic principles of the function of the business, I haven't looked at the global picture of things, which is you're not going to affect a bigger market. You're not going to get out to more people unless you can, unless you have a bigger picture of yourself and what it is that you're doing. Just checking the stats, we've got 5 people online at the moment, which is pretty cool, which is what I expect for a short live session. I hope that more people will tune in later when it's recorded. If you like this session, then you can copy and paste the link for it. I think if you right click on the actual video, it'll probably give you a URL that you can copy and paste so that other people can join in with the discussion. Remember, any questions left later on can be answered in the next session. Visions and missions. I'll get there eventually. Right. So this is what came out of my head this morning in terms of vision and mission. And I think this is good because it's real. It's not just a fantasy company. This is a real business. The business has functioned for 12 years. I've been building it very slowly with a lot of help from my students and clients. And so vision, my vision, is something which is for a long time been inside my head, and I've had difficulty getting it out. And if you can't get it out, it's just, if you can't get it out into the real world, it's not going to exist. And if you can't get it out into the real world in which people in a way in which people can understand it in clear language, then your business is going to have problems growing. Now, all of the bigger companies have visions and missions. That's what makes them different. You think about Microsoft, eBay, Amazon. They've all got these, and just off the top of my head, I'm thinking about the Tesla company run by Elon Musk. And with Elon Musk, you don't hear him talking about his aim is to sell the electric car. His mission, his aim, is to build a colony on Mars. You see the difference there? See the difference between just having the sales as your goal and having a giant mission as a goal? Because you might not achieve that mission in your lifetime, you might not live to see it, but what grows and stems from that might be something even greater than what you have at the present moment. Think about John F. Kennedy's statement of, we're going to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. How do I turn off sound notifications on Skype? See, I've now got people Skyping me during this session, and I've got Skype running on 2 computers. So this is all lifetime stuff. Lifetime stuff. My next Skype session My student has written to me, can we start 15 minutes later? Of course we can, because I've always got a 15-minute to half an hour cushion between sessions so that things don't overlap. I've worked with teachers before who let things overlap and they say it doesn't make a problem. I kind of think that if you're going to provide a higher level of business and service, you need more individualized time, and you have to realize that a lot of clients have bad time management, and you got to factor that in. Even if you've got good time management, you have to factor in other people's negative personal habits as well. So where did I get to? JFK. Oh, and the reason why he's late is that he says that he has forgotten his dog. Bizarre. I should keep a book of the reasons why people can't keep their meeting times. That's just something that teachers, I think, will understand, that the excuses are endless and very often true at the same time. So, where are we? Oh, John F. Kennedy's. Yeah. We're going to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade, and the result was a lot of investment in technology, a lot of investment in transportation. We got the satellites up into space. We enabled the internet to develop, and eventually we can have what we have today. Those people who designed those systems and worked on them, most of them are long since dead, but we can stand on the shoulders of giants and have all the advantages of standing on the shoulders of giants. If you're growing up in Western civilization, in Western culture, you don't know how lucky you are today. Just look back and see how life was 100 years ago. It's quite an incredible period of development that we have had. Visions and missions. I promised you some information on visions and missions. So, I'm not sure how to turn off the Skype sound notifications. There must be a button somewhere. I have to search for it. There's always a million functions and some little button that I have to search for, but it makes me incredibly happy when I find the button at the end. Anyway, vision. So, a company's vision. A company's vision is the desired end state. What's going to be the end point for you? And I recommend that the vision is so big it's almost unattainable, or perhaps it is unattainable, because life's a journey, not a destination. If life was a destination, we wouldn't be having this experience or this conversation, would we? There'd also be a giant fight to get in the cemetery or graveyard. So, the desired end state. And this is what I wrote. It's just a first version, so don't hammer me too hard for this. So the vision is, and then remember, it's a language school, but the vision could apply to any kind of business. I don't know if you're selling ice cream, or you're renting cars, or you're running a hotel. It doesn't matter. It's usually applicable almost everywhere. So the vision is to reach out and improve the quality of life for everyone that the school touches through an approach defined by an ethic of integrity and passion, and a covenant of hard work with a specific focus on mental and physical health and well-being. Bang. Too wordy? Perhaps. Too complex? Perhaps. It's a good start, though. I often find that to get to the core of something, you've just got to cut out all the frilly and fancy language. KIS, keep it simple, if it is possible. So that's the vision. That's the vision. And is it global enough? I'm not sure if it's global enough. Is it too personal? It's hard when you're self-employed and you're working on your own things. It's difficult not to take the business personally, especially when you're a solopreneur rather than an entrepreneur. Remember that solopreneurs are basically in charge of everything in their business, whereas entrepreneurs are venturing into new business areas, but still working together with other people, having employees and managers to run the business. And so that was the vision. One more time. To reach out and improve the quality of life for everyone that the school touches through an approach defined by an ethic of integrity and passion and a covenant of hard work with a specific focus on mental and physical health and well-being. I always feel like it's missing something universal or global there. I've also noticed with some vision statements that some companies talk about a global vision and some companies talk about a universal vision. There's a difference in psychology and philosophy. Whoa. So, quick check on the stats. Quick check on the stats. Still pretty much the same. Remember, if you've got a question, you can write it in live time on the Facebook page and I'll pick it up and deal with it as best I can. The mission. The mission is the point of your existence. And it's a transitory mission. It's what's going to take you towards your vision. It's what's going to drive you towards your vision. It's what's going to drive the company towards the vision. Now, the principles are the individual daily steps. We'll maybe talk about that at another point in time. But we've got the mission, which is, let's go through it. It's to grow day by day and step by step into an accessible, renowned, and respected global reference for teaching and coaching, which holistically and symbiotically improves business, community, and personal development. I need to refine the holistic and symbiotic parts of the statement there. But it's definitely got that day by day, step by step feel, which is part of what I marry into my own philosophy of development, which is SO or SOM, which is situational, get it right? Situational opportunism. Situational opportunism. The situational opportunism, blah, 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 can't say it. Situational opportunism is clearly fixed and defined short-term goals that link together with a more flexible long-term plan. Because things change. You need to refine and redefine your goals over time. Because it's a journey, not a destination. Because it's a journey, not a destination. You need to be able to refine and redefine what you're doing every day. And that's part of what makes, I think, businesses successful. It's what keeps small businesses going. What is it, like 4 out of 5 businesses fail in the first year? 9 out of 10 fail over 2 years. And I think only 1 or 2% of businesses, maybe maximum 5, survive a period of 10 years. And this is because the market changes, people change, even big companies make big mistakes and end up disappearing from the market. Where is Blockbuster video and DVD now? Where is Kodak now? Where are the British car companies of the 60s and 70s now? Where's Rover? Where is what was that other company? Triumph. My dad has an old Triumph car. So what happened to those companies? Leyland is another British company. So they were all big, having a huge effect on society at one point, but they didn't move with the times. You've got to move with the times. You've got to be flexible. Just because something works one day doesn't mean it's going to work the next day. Yes, success has patterns that you can copy, but you've got to be flexible. And I think that the vision and mission can also integrate elements of flexibility into them at the same time. So this is something that's been on my mind for a while, and I've been working on it with a few clients and client groups, and I think it's something which you can apply into your own personal life as well. What is your personal vision? What is your personal mission? Add it to your curriculum vitae. And there's another point about CVs that I want to make, which is that put some effort in, guys. Put some color in it. Put a picture of yourself on it. Get it graphically designed. Give yourself an edge. The number of people who have got great experiences in their life and they just put nothing into the CV. The CV is the paper form of you. Give it some kind of personality. And if you're not sure how to do it, use Fiverr on the internet. People will redesign your entire CV for 5 or 10 euros. Cost of a couple of cups of coffee, and well worth it. Trust me, well worth it. I got mine done. You want to see mine? We're going to finish today with my CV. Yeah. You have to bear with me because I got to go and get it because it's over here. So still there. Right. You can find my CV on the website, NSA. Slovakia.com. If you click here to read more about the director, it'll take you to this. See, because you can't really read it here because of the contrast, because I've turned the contrast up, and it's extremely sunny. But you can see, look, the presentation is relatively nice. That's the point. And it's not on paper. I've laminated it. Give yourself an advantage. Put it on colored paper. Print it on colored paper. Laminate it. Add something to it. Make it three-dimensional in some way. So give yourself an edge. Little things make big differences. Don't they say it's the little things that kill? Right. Kill or be killed. It's a jungle out there. So that's what I want to say today. Thank you very much for paying attention. Thank you very much for being there. Thank you very much for following this up online, if you followed this up online. These are the irregular broadcasts of Native Speakers Academy on air. Should I do a regular time each day? Would that be better? Probably. But then, isn't irregularity the spice of life? Do you always want to drink the same wine? Do you always want to visit the same bar? Do you always want to see the same movie? Or do you want something different? Change, variety, spice of life. Catch them unawares. So this is done also because I'm in between meetings, and so I'm grabbing the time that I can when I can. If you've got questions related to language, education, you want to know how to find a best school for your kids, how to help your kids with their education, you want to know how to communicate with people better, then drop me a question. Just write it on the Facebook page. Just write the question under the video on the school's Facebook page, and I will deal with it as best I can. If you like the video, right click on the video, copy the URL, paste it into your homepage, share it with other people. If you've got a suggestion about how to make this better, I'm always open to practical suggestions. I've got a suggestion. Stop it. Be quiet. Go and do something else. No, that's okay. I know everyone is different. That's okay. Right. That's about it for today's little broadcast. Keep in touch. Let me know. We're a small private language school existing in Central Slovakia. Come and visit Central Slovakia. It's quite beautiful. Check it out on a map if you don't know where it is. Banska Bystrica, the heart of Europe. There we go. That's it for today, guys. I'm sliding out of focus so that I can do all the little technical things that I need to do. Speak to you soon.